Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Great Big Plugin Show here on Puremix. You guys can check out Puremix at puremix.com now, formerly known as puremix.net, which will still get you there. But welcome to another episode. So today we are going to be checking out the Waves Magma Tube Channel Strip, which I'm pretty excited about. I got it over the weekend and started playing with it, and I think we're going to have some fun today. So yeah, couple housekeeping things. We have a new video coming out on Friday on Puremix with Daryl Thorpe mixing the Foo Fighters. It is actually their alter ego, the Bee Gees. They did a cover of the Bee Gees song Tragedy, and Daryl opens up the session and talks about the actual recording process, the multi-tracking process, what he did on the front side of it, and how he mixed it. So that's going to be amazing, and it should be coming out on Friday, so keep an eye out. And then next Friday, we'll have the new episodes of our History of the Beatles recording series. So that's going to be era number 2 for those who are following along. If you haven't seen it yet, head over to puremix.com. You can watch era 1 right now. We're at Abbey Road with Ken Scott, with one of the best Beatles tribute bands in the world, the Fab Four, members of the Fab Four. And we do everything from use the original microphones with the original TG desks, and the band has original, or at least replicas of the exact instruments that were used. So accurate to the year, everything. So going after the tuning and trying to recreate that sound. So if you're a Beatles fanatic, this is the series for you, for sure. All right. Before we get started here, I have to point out that Rich Keller is in the chat. Rich, good to see you. If you guys are unfamiliar with Rich Keller, you can check out his videos on Puremix. He's got one with Nipsey Hussle's Grinding All My Life. That's amazing. And then he goes over some stuff like mixing hip-hop 808s, vocals, and another mix video with Jared Evans' Tidal Wave, which is killer. So Rich, good to see you in here. Thanks for joining in. And Rich gave his endorsement of the plugin in the chat. So just saying, I think we're going to have some fun. All right. And hey, Daryl Thorpe's in the chat. All right. Guys, it's a full house today. This is amazing. All right. So on to the Waves Magma channel strip. So here we are. This is the website for it. It is on sale for $30. How about that? There was a comment earlier in the chat from someone saying, "Oh man, this thing again. Yet another hour of someone trying to sell us Waves plugins. A nice analog-y channel strip hogging all the mixing and producing channels until the next release. Nothing else out there?" There are other things out there. And I would love for you guys to tell me about some of the things you would love to see on the channel in the chat. So if you've got a plugin that you think's amazing, you think everybody should know about it, drop it in the chat and we'll add it to the list for a future episode. But this thing's super hot right now. It just came out. Right on the heels of their other Magma series plugin called BB Tubes. And that one definitely got some big press. I didn't cover it on the channel because it's pretty fast to go through. But definitely take a look at that. It's definitely cool. It adds some vibe. But I got more excited about the channel strip when I kind of saw that was available. I am, as a disclosure, I have not been talking to Waves at all. I bought it with my hard-earned lemonade stand money. I was out in my neighborhood selling lemonade so I could get my $30 to get the plugin. And I bought it, haven't talked to them or anything like that. So this is completely non-endorsed for all those who are counting. Okay, so yeah, here's our typical, kind of plugin page here. So we've got tube-based dynamics, EQ, and saturation. Saying glue your mix together with tube compression and drive, creamy tube saturation from subtle to fully distorted. We'll check it out. And then we've got a 3-band EQ, as well as this plugin has an expander, a gate, and a compressor on it with 2 different settings for ratio and attack. And then we've got the usual kind of endorsements. We'll see a lot of familiar faces on here. And I think everybody's kind of digging it. So let's dig in and see how we feel about it. All right, let me jump over to Pro Tools here and get you guys in. Today we are going to be using this song Jealousy, which has been featured on Puremix a lot, and I've used it for a lot of plugin demos. The reason that I like using this one for plugin demos is one, it does sound already amazing. Mick Guzowski tracked it at the former MSR Studios, which unfortunately is no longer around, but lots of amazing things down there, and Mick Guzowski, guys. So It sounds great already. But this session does have a vocal that I find particularly, I don't know if troublesome is the right word, but it's got some room for improvement, which is cool. And it was nice of Mick to leave us some room for stuff like this. So, in particular, if you've seen previous episodes of the show, this vocal has, yes, it is locally sourced lemonade, Daryl Adams. Nice. So this vocal going into the first chorus has a giant peak on it. And I've used this in other examples, like when we did the Spirit and everything. When they were tracking this was on a take that I think Mick was still kind of dialing in his sounds and everything, because the vocal, as you can see in the waveform, kind of levels out as the song goes on. And then this earlier take, which is marked 05, and then we have 06 on the lighter half of the song. I think that this was kind of like as he was getting his sound going. So we've got some room to kind of play around with some things here. So I'm going to play this section that normally gives some trouble, and then we're going to pull out the Magma channel strip and see if we can kind of deal with some of that. So yeah, here we go. This is the raw vocal, no plugin.
Why you make me look so green in the eye? Oh, you overpower me so instinctively, no matter where I run.
So right off the bat, when she says, you overpower me, the power just jumps out of the speakers, right? So that's kind of one of the things that we're looking at. And then it also feels a little bit dark to me. It's got some low mid build up on it and all that. So those are some of the things that we'll play with. First up in the channel, as you can see this monster on my screen right now, we've got a drive section. There's a high pass filter. It's nice that they put a polarity flip on there. And then we've got the 3-band EQ. The mid band is variable frequency. We can, parametric, we can move that around. Then we've got an expander and a gate. Note, it's in expand mode by default, which I thought was interesting. And then we've got a compressor after that with 2 modes. There's not smashed and smashed. And then over here, we've just got a level thing and a pretty cool looking VU meter up here. So let's just play around a little bit and see what the drive's going to do for us. I'm going to take one of the more controlled sections. We'll go to the chorus here, and I'll solo the vocal up, and let's just listen to what happens. Here we go.
So instinctively, no matter where I run, I just can't overcome.
Let's go too far.
So instinctively, no matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go.
And in bypass.
So instinctively, no matter where I run, I just can't overcome.
So pretty cool, like starting to get some saturation, some harmonic stuff going. I hear it kind of rounding the top a little bit. And then the natural kind of compression artifact that you get from cranking something through a distortion like this is sort of happening for me there. There is a bit of a level jump, but you'll notice like when I cranked it all the way to the right just to hear that flavor of distortion, they did automatically kind of handle the level bump that would come there. So there's some gain compensation happening within that circuit. So a couple things to point out. We have a sensitivity knob here, which when you hover over it, the labeling on the box changes. I don't know how they do that. But you can make it more sensitive if you want more of the saturation, or less sensitive and all that. And then one other thing that I discovered was this knob on the VU meter is also variable. And right now it's set up for -18 is 0 VU, as you would expect. But if you wanted to change your reference level, you can. That was one thing I found when I was digging in there, that little bit of an Easter egg that you might not find if you weren't looking for it. So, all right, I think I've got like a tube thing going on here. And I'm going to move into the EQ section. Let's see what that sounds like. Here we go.
So instinctively, no matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me.
So just kind of brightening it, opening up a little bit. Here's without the plugin.
So instinctively, no matter where I run.
Bring the gain down, and here we go.
So instinctively, no matter where I run.
All right, and then I'm just going to go after a little bit of that low mid stuff that's happening in this guy. Feels a little congested. And I'm going to turn off my high band to do that. Here we go.
So instinctively, no matter where I run.
We'll dip it out.
So instinctively, no matter where I run, I just can't overcome.
See if we can get a little body back.
So instinctively, no matter where I run, I just can't overcome.
We started here.
So instinctively, no matter where I run.
Here we are with the plugin.
So instinctively, no matter where I run, I just can't overcome.
Cool. So getting some flavor pretty fast on this thing. I think that's one of my favorite things that I liked about it when I was playing with it over the weekend was just, I felt like I could move really fast through it and get a sound happening pretty quick. So let's check out this compressor and see if we can deal with that peak on there. So let's check out that peak in bypass so we can hear it again.
Me look so green in the eye. Oh, you overpower me so instinctively.
Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, my mic was muted. All right, I had to deal with a little thing. All right, I'm gonna go after that peak now. So here's that peak again.
Oh, you overpower me.
That's with the plugin in, and now we're gonna use some of the compression.
Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. Oh, you overpower me.
And let's check out this other section here with the compressor on.
No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me.
Without compression.
No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're
So that's doing like a nice overall shaping of it, but it's not going to grab our peak on there, right? So when I kind of went into this, I wanted to see what was going on because we don't really have labels. You know, if we're looking at the EQ, we don't really know our frequency points. We do for the mid, obviously, but not for the baseband. And then we don't really have much information about the compression. So I went into the manual and went down here and found some more info. So basically, the smash button, if we look at this, switches between compressor modes. This affects ratio as well as attack and release times. So smash is a higher ratio, obviously, quick attack, quick release, and then smash off is a lower ratio, slower attack, slower release. So normally you see smash, and my brain at least goes right to all buttons in mode 1176. So that's kind of what I thought it would do, but I wanted to see if the peak if the attack time could be fast enough if we use the smash button. So let's check out that peak again. Here's without the plugin.
oh, you overpower me.
Where we're at now.
Oh, you overpower me.
So the tube's taking care of a little bit of it, but let's see if we can get it with this smash setting on the compressor.
Oh, you overpower me. Oh, you overpower me so instinctively.
No compression.
Oh, you overpower me.
Where we were about.
Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run.
So I'm starting to get some control over that peak, which is really cool. So that was kind of my first introduction to this thing, and it was moving a lot faster when I didn't have to talk about it and then fix my screen share and everything. So my initial reaction was, I can get a pretty cool tone going with a little bit of effort, and it happened very, very fast. So it was like, less than a couple minutes, which was nice. So that's there. Let's go check it out on some other stuff in the mix. So I'm just going to kind of bring it up on different sources and play around with it and see if we can get some cool things to happen. I think the first place I'm going to go is to check out this guitar. Here we go. Cool. And one observation I had when I was kind of going through it too is the EQ is definitely pre-compression. And that was the first thing that popped up that I was like, I wish I had a switch to move that EQ section post-compression. That'd just be a nice feature to have. I'm not sure why it's not included, but I'm pretty sure that the signal flow is drive circuit, EQ, into the expander, and then to the compression. Expander gate into compression. So very much like a waterfall, right? And obviously into our fader at the end of it. So let's see what else we can get going here. We'll see if we can kind of brighten our whole guy up on the overheads a little bit. And then we're going to check it out on bass. So I'll do both of those and then we'll chat a little more.
Your knife and you cut it through my heart. Oh, jealousy.
Here's without the plugin on bass. And with. Okay, so we've got it on bass, lead vocal, and the overheads at the moment. So let's just see what happens if we get rid of everybody. This is where we started. Oh, hold on. It's my first day, guys. Okay, here's where we started.
Oh, you overpower me so instinctively, no matter
And here's where we're at.
Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome.
So obviously you could, keep on tweaking and everything, but with just a couple of instances of it, I was able to get a little bit of life out of it. I liked what was happening on the overheads. I've, been able to get some cool bass tones out of it. To me, it's a little reminiscent of like the 610 feel when I go to a bass, like the Universal Audio Tube Strip, which is cool. I like, the EQ. It's very broad shaped. And one of the things I like to do when I get a new plugin like this is to throw it up under an analyzer. So we're going to do that real quick. So let me go get us set up there. I'm going to mute all of our jealousy guys. And I've got this set up here where, let me blow this up for you guys. Okay, so the way I've got this set up is I'm just feeding a signal generator, just putting out some pink noise, and that's going into an aux that has Pro Q3 on it and the Magma right before it. So this is kind of our, my non-scientific test at all. There's probably way better ways to do this. Let me know in the chat. But let's try bringing in the tube channel strip and seeing what's happening with it. So right now it's in bypass. And I'm going to just put it in. This is on its factory default settings. Everything flat. Here we go. All right. So what I'm seeing is a roll off in the bottom. So if I bypass it and then come out of bypass, you can see it's kind of rolling things off below 50 there. Let's start bringing up the drive. And we're seeing the volume come up, obviously. Hard to tell harmonics. I know like plugin doctor is probably a better way to do this. But you'll notice when I go past 8 here, the level's going to drop a bit. And this is them doing some gain compensation there. All right, so we'll go back to 0 on the drive. And let's play around with that EQ. So boosting that up. See, we've got like a shelf thing, obviously. And then the bass. We're going to get our smiley face thing going. And it looks like that bass curve is going up, kind of into like 250, 300. And that high shelf is reaching all the way down, looks like around like 1.8. And then going up and kind of flattening out a little bit around the top. If we check out the width of the mid band, we can kind of see that as I go up, it doesn't really seem to sharpen in Q. But if I go down, it's a lot tighter of a Q than when I boost it. So that's a good thing to be aware of as you're using it. This is why I like to do these kinds of tests-ish, my non-scientific way of looking at things. So cutting, sharp Q, boosting, broad Q. And then that doesn't really change as we move it around. And that's that. And then compression, we're just going to see level go down, I'm sure. Yep. So cool. So that's a good way to find out where those bands are. So overall, I feel like I'm kind of digging this thing, which is nice and very fast to work with. I have my feelings about Waves update plans and all that stuff, but I don't want to pontificate. So yeah, what do you guys think? Is there anything else that you want to hear this on? Let me know, and we can do that before we get out of here. But that's pretty much the Waves channel strip. There's some more information over in the manual too. I think they actually do talk about where the bands are. So yeah, they say wide shelf on the high shelf, starting at 2.5K, range -14 to +14. The low shelf, they don't tell you the frequency on it, but from what I saw, it was kind of reaching up into the 2s, almost 300s there. So cool. Yeah. I think that's all I got for this one. I would love to know what other plugins you guys want to see on the show. And yeah, any other stuff you want to see me review, any other things you want to hear this on. And I'm going to hang out for a minute while I wait for the chat to catch up because we're on a little bit of a delay. So again, while we're waiting, make sure you guys go in, check out the new Foo Fighters video with Daryl Thorpe on Friday, who happens to be in the chat. And yeah, new Beatles episode next Friday. I don't see any big chat requests coming in. So I think that's going to do it for us for today. But I would definitely recommend going and checking this one out. There's a free demo on the site. It's $30. You can sell lemonade like I did, and you can get it. It's not going to get you a Waves update plan, but you can still sell some lemonade. Jim Kashner asks, is this strictly a channel strip plugin, or can it be used creatively on the master bus or other? Let's talk about that real quick. So let me bring Jealousy back up here. And if I go down to my master, you could obviously put this on there and you could use that EQ, which, with it being that broad, you could almost say it's almost got a Pultec thing going on. But might as well mention BB Tubes, which is their other plugin that came out over the holidays. And that's basically the drive section, but it's got two different flavors, Beauty and Beast. And you can kind of blend those to get different tones and different feels and all that. We might as well go over this while we're here. So let me put it on and we'll see what we get. Let me turn off all of our solo guys and make sure I'm not muted. There we go. All right, so let's hear without it. Cool, and then we'll bring it in and I'll start bringing some stuff up. Here we go. Same thing applies here where we have sensitivity. So I could make this, very, very sensitive and we'll start hearing a lot of distortion. Or kind of back it off based on my input values there. And this can be used not necessarily just on the master either. You could use this for a saturator on anything. So let's bring up some of the Beast. Let me try and gain compensate a little bit. Plus it's saturating pretty heavy on that vocal, but let's see. Then a couple other things with this one. They have this bass relief knob where you can bring this guy up and get some of the low frequency stuff out of the saturation circuit. So if it's, clipping out your bass guitar and your kick drum and everything, you could do some bass relief and let some of that stuff flow through unharmed. So we'll check it out with some of that on. Then we have a transformer circuit on the bottom. Let's hear it without and then with. Ah, right. Audio. You guys want to hear audio. Tricky. Okay. Sorry. Here we go. Let's do this again with some audio. All right. So I'm going to put it back to factory default and we'll do this all again here. Sorry about that. Here we go. Here's without. With. And then the transformer hears it off, and then I'll bring it in. Sorry, my mic is muted again. The bass relief thing, just letting things flow through unharmed, but it can get a little bit lopsided. And then let's check out the transformer off, and then I'll bring it in.
Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so. You won't let me go. Oh, jealousy.
So yeah, that's another bit of a vibe box. We've got a couple different types of distortion on the Beast too. There's a type A and a type B, which we can check out here. And there's also a tone circuit on there, which you can brighten things up or darken them pre-gain there. So let's check some of that out. Hold on, I'm having a whole thing going on with the screens over here. It's very fun. We'll do the type A and type B. Here we go.
Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so. You won't let me go. Oh, jealousy.
So definitely a little bit of a flavor change. And then the tone circuit, we'll mess around with that for a second.
Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so.
So that one's also kind of fun because we can push, if we want more high frequency emphasis going into the thing, we can kind of crank up the tone knob, get some more high frequencies feeding into it, or go the other way and then invert that on the post if we want to, or just use the post. So it's pretty flexible. This is kind of where it started, and then they did the channel strip. So to answer your question, there you go. You can use it on the master as well. All right. Primetime says this plugin is very, very quiet. Nice. Smoking Fudo says transformer always on. DJ Big Scully, the singer is Brandy Alexander, and the band is Brandy and the Alexanders. Very, very cool song. Killer singer too. Killer everybody. The whole band was just made up of rock stars, so it's very awesome. Cool. Yeah, hope you guys dig it. And please, again, let me know in the comments any other plugins that you want to see on the show. And I'm going to go figure out my muting issues. That's going to be fun. But yeah, I think both these plugins are actually really useful, and they'll probably make their way into my workflow. So pretty fun. Let me know what you guys think of it as well. And like and subscribe down below. It helps us to keep content like this happening on YouTube. So we greatly appreciate when you do that. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.